Jazakumullah khairan for coming on time. That's amazing. Last time we had an agreement that from now on we will be punctual. And I believe last time, to refresh your mind and my mind, we spoke about the two different types of Tadabur. Do you remember what types are they? Who can remember? Spiritual Tadabur and intellectual Tadabur. Good. And we spoke about the spiritual Tadabur, and we said simply put, is to turn every ayah into a dua. Right? I want to ask you now, who practiced this through this week? On daily basis? Good. That those who practice this on daily basis, do you have anything to share with us? Any feedback, any change, anything that you felt?
Tranquility.
Huh?
Tranquility.
You felt more tranquil?
Yes.
Okay, so more tranquility. Anything? That those?
To understand the ayah more.
Yeah.
And it goes in.
It goes in.
Rather than just reading it.
This is just from the first week. Imagine after 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks from now, just continue. This should be like breathing. You don't breathe every other day. You breathe every moment. This should be like, I want to tell you that Prophet Muhammad ﷺ was absorbed by the Quran. I think I told you this last time. One of the big misconceptions on Islam is that Prophet Muhammad did not exist. There is someone who loves that. He keeps saying, there was Kaaba before the Kaaba, there was Quran before the Quran, and then when he came to Prophet Muhammad, he said, he never existed. Why? He said, where is his khutbahs? Where is the khutbahs of the Prophet ﷺ? We don't have khutbahs. Where are they? Though he was the most eloquent who ever spoke Arabic, he did not make speeches. His khutbahs were Quran. One of the female companions of Prophet Muhammad said, I learned Qaf wal Quran al-Majid by heart from the tongue of the Prophet, reciting it every single week on the minbar. Though he was so eloquent, but he was all absorbed by the Quran. He said, بَلِّغُوا عَنِّي وَلَوْ propagate on my behalf even one ayah. He didn't say one hadith. Though his hadith is very important, but he was absorbed by the Quran. He was focused all the time on the Quran. That's the medication of the heart. So if you continue doing this, those who read but not every day, please read every day. Those who did not start at all, you will not start if you don't take the decision to start. Okay, those who did not practice this even one day during the past week, what made you not do that? Can you tell me? What made you hesitate? It's the shaitan. It's the shaitan. Do you think that the shaitan loves to see us taking a workshop, studying Tadabor? He's not going to leave you. He's not going to leave you. So he will, in the beginning, he will throw doubts in your hearts. He will make you hesitate of practicing this. And if you practice every day, you think you defeated him? Not yet. He will go and tell you, wow, let's share this beautiful experience with our brothers and sisters on Facebook. And then you go and you post on Facebook, I've been practicing Tadabor of Quran every single day. Wow, what an experience. So he's taking your sincerity. Be sincere. Don't tell anyone. Don't say, when I do that, people will take me as an example. You're not an example for anyone. Okay? Forget that. That's the shaitan throwing in your heart that you are an example for people. You are not an example for anyone. I know that you may be an example for a son or for a daughter, but that's it. Don't go public with the good things you do. The shaitan has no problem that you pray for his sake, not for the sake of Allah. He would love to see you praying for his sake. If you want to say, let me go and make 2 rak'ahs now and people see me and think that I am humble, he would love that. By the way, shaitan has no problem with that. He has a problem with your sincerity. Okay? Okay. So we took the first key and it was I think in the intellectual tadabbur, the first key we took was to humble yourself to the Quran. We spoke about that last time, right? Alaykum as-salam wa barakatuh. So let's take now how to put yourself in every ayah of the Quran. Today we have like 10 keys or something to take. So we just start inshallah. Today inshallah we're not going to stay until 7. Because this whole workshop is 3 hours and a half. We took like 2 hours last time, right? Fine. Bismillah. Will you allow me to sit? Do you want anyone wants me to stand up?
No, it's fine.
Are you sure? Okay. I have this fizzy drink. So, we said we have 12, 13 keys of tadabbur, intellectual tadabbur. We said the spiritual tadabbur is simply to turn every ayah into a dua. You are reading something and the ayah spoke about al-muttaqeen, the mindful of God, or as-salihin, the righteous, or the al-muhsineen, those who excel in doing good. So you ask Allah in your heart to be one of those people, okay? And then you come across an ayah that speaks about bad people, the hypocrites, al-munafiqeen, or the al-kafirin. You, deep in your heart, ask Allah to save you from being among those people. And then you continue reading and you come across an ayah that speaks about paradise, reward. You ask Allah paradise. And then you come across an ayah that speaks about an-nar, hellfire, any punishment of God. You ask Allah to save you from being punished. This is not a bid'ah that I'm saying. That's actually the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. His own Sahaba said, we prayed with the Prophet. It's like they were praying with him a night prayer or something. And I think Zayd narrated that every time he comes across an ayah that has tasbih, he makes tasbih. He says subhanallah. And then if he comes across an ayah that has su'al, he asks Allah whatever is in the ayah. And if he comes across an ayah that has isti'adah, he seeks refuge with Allah. So that's actually what I'm saying is prophetic. It's not something that I came up with. And this can change your life, wallahi, if you continue doing that. And I suggest you don't do that for 60 minutes continuously. Make 30 in the morning, 30 at night. This will make your day very beautiful, inshallah, and your night very beautiful. Now with the intellectual tadabbur, intellectual contemplation. The second key is to figure out the passage, then put yourself in every passage and try to explore the direct and indirect messages sent to your heart. What do I mean by a Quranic passage? Al-Jumla al-Qur'aniyya. That is, we know the Quranic ayah. They call it verse, I call it sign. But what is Quranic passage? A passage is a part or a portion of the Quran that has a complete meaning. An ayah is an ayah, and we know what's the ayah. It's a unit of text in the Quran. Not every ayah has a complete meaning. So you cannot contemplate except a complete meaning. So for example, وَالتِّينِ وَالزَّيْتُونِ is an ayah. How can you contemplate it? You have to continue reading until you come up with a complete meaning in order to contemplate, in order to reflect upon the meaning. This is what we call a passage. So one ayah can have several passages, or one ayah can be a part of a passage. So you need to figure out when you are reading, when will the meaning be complete? That's a passage, and then you start doing what I'm going to show you now. So let's take an example. In Surah Al-Baqarah, ayah number 157, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, أولئك عليهم صلوات من ربهم ورحمة وأولئك هم المهتدون. Upon those are pardons and mercy from the Lord, and those are the rightly guided. Here I can spiritually say, oh my God, please make me among the muhtadun, make me among the rightly guided. But intellectually I cannot, because it says upon those. So there was something previously mentioned. Some people previously mentioned, they need to figure out who are they. So that's not a complete meaning. Upon those are pardons and mercy from the Lord, and those are the rightly guided. So I have to go back one ayah. Let's go back one ayah. 156 with 157. It says, those who, when a calamity afflicts them, say, to Allah we belong, and indeed to Him we are returning. Upon those are pardons and mercy from their Lord, and those are the rightly guided. This is more meaning, but still not complete, because it starts with those who. So there is something previously mentioned. Let's go back one more ayah. If you go back from 155, it says, وَلَنَبْلُوَنَّكُمْ بِشَيْءٍ مِّنَ الْخَوْفِ وَالْجُوعِ وَنَقْصٍ مِّنَ الْأَمْوَالِ وَالْأَنفُسِ وَالثَّمَرَاتِ. We will certainly test you with some fear and hunger and some loss of possessions and lives and crops. But give good tidings to those who are patient. So those means those who are patient. From the ayah before, now we understand. Those who, it means those who are patient. Those who, when a calamity afflicts them, say, to Allah we belong, and indeed to Him we are returning. Upon those are pardons and mercy from their Lord, and those are the rightly guided. That's a Quranic sentence or a Quranic passage, which I now can contemplate. Let's take this one for example. The beginning of Surah Al-Ankabut. Alif Lam Mim. أحسب الناس أن يتركوا أن يقولوا آمنا وهم لا يفتنون. Alif Lam Mim. Does mankind think that they will be left to say, we believe, and they will not be tested? Yet, certainly we have tested those before them. Thus Allah will surely know the truthful, and He will surely know the liars. That's a complete passage. Put yourself in it. That's the first step to do Tadabor. Put yourself in the passage. Where can I put myself in the passage? Alif Lam Mim. Does mankind think, am I among mankind? I am one of the mankind. So I will start understanding it like that. Does Fadel think that he will be left to say, I believe, and he will not be tested? Yet, certainly we have tested those before Fadel. Thus Allah will surely know the truthful, and He will surely know the liars. Imagine that if I am in a calamity right now, if I am in the middle of a big test in my life, and I read this ayah with my heart like that, guess what the impact of this ayah on me will be? Guess this, how supporting it is for me. Imagine the strength that I will gain when I'm in the middle of a big test in my life and I read the Quran telling me, speaking to me. Actually, Jeffrey Lang said, the Quran is the first book in the world that I read, and I found that it is reading me, not I am reading it. The Quran is reading you. Just put yourself in it. So you need to put yourself in every passage of the Quran and see the messages sent to your heart. Figure out what messages are sent to your heart. So this ayah tells me what? Do you think that you will be left alone by Allah to claim that you're a believer without being tested? So I start thinking about the things that I'm having in my life, the problems are in my life right now, as tests. And I need to pass those tests. So this ayah will impact my life. But if I just read it quickly, ألف لام ميم أحسب الناس أن يتركوا أن يقولوا آمنا وهم لا يفتنون ولقد فتنا الذين من قبلهم فليعلمن الله الذين صدقوا وليعلمن الكاذبين. And then I check with my cousins, where are you now? We are in Surah Al-Mu'minun. Okay, I beat them. And we are just racing to beat each other. They did 3 khatmas, I will do 4 khatmas inshallah, and it's not going to affect me. If we read like that, it's not going to affect. But if we read like the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ used to read, it will affect us. It will turn us into better human beings. Every single moment you read, every single moment you contemplate, the Quran is changing you to a better person. Yet, certainly we have tested those before them. I feel inside in my heart, it's telling me, the Quran is telling me that Allah has tested those who were before me. Thus Allah will surely know the truthful and the liars. So if I'm really a believer or not. So I need to prove and to take the challenge and prove to Allah that I'm a believer. It will affect me. Surah Al-Hashr. لو أنزلنا هذا القرآن على جبل لرأيته خاشعا متصدعا من خشية الله. Had we sent this Quran down on a mountain, you would have seen it trembling, crumbling in awe of Allah. And these parables we set forth to mankind, for mankind, that they may reflect. وَتِلْكَ الْأَمْثَالُ نَضْرِبُهَا لِلنَّاسِ لَعَلَّهُمْ يَتَفَكَّرُونَ. This part of the ayah is telling you, stop, don't continue. It's time to do tafakkur. And these parables we set forth for mankind that they may reflect. It's telling you, stop. Here it's time to reflect. You have to reflect. How come you continue without reflecting? If the ayah itself is telling you, reflect. How can you continue? There is something very important in the ayah telling you, reflect upon it. So Allah says that had this Quran descend on a mountain, it would crumble out of awe, out of fear of Allah. Put yourself in the air. Where are you going to put yourself? On the mountain? If this Quran descends on a mountain, the mountain will collapse. What's wrong with you? You read it every day, and it doesn't affect you. You have it in your bag. You put it in the drawer of your car to protect the car, because it's a new car. It's a rich. It's an expensive one. You buy an expensive Quran. You put it in the reception, in the entrance of your house. Why? To protect your house. And still, cars make accidents, and burglars still break into the houses, and the Quran doesn't protect this way. The Quran doesn't work this way. The ayah is telling you, if a mountain receives this Quran, it will collapse. What's wrong with you? Why isn't it affecting you? Look in the way you read it. Look in the way you deal with it. Is it superficial? You just want to listen to tunes of Mashari or Ajabi or whatever, just tunes? Or do you really benefit from the meanings? So put you in every passage you can put yourself. But you need to read it once and twice and 3 times. And وَتِلْكَ الْأَمْثَالُ. These parables we draw for people so that they may reflect. So there is some reflection here. I need to find, and you start thinking, utilizing your intellect. Al-Ma'idah 109. Allah is speaking about the day of judgment. Allah says, يَوْمَ يَجْمَعُ اللَّهُ الرُّسُلَ فَيَقُولُ مَاذَا أُجِبْتُمْ قَالُوا لَا عِلْمَ لَنَا إِنَّكَ أَنْتَ عَلَّامُ الْغُيُوبِ. On the day when Allah gathers the messengers, then says, what response were you given? They said, we have no knowledge. It is you who are the superb knower of all that is hidden. Imagine, you have to utilize your imagination. On the day when Allah gathers the messengers, imagine the messengers Ibrahim and Noah and Musa and Isa and Muhammad gathered. And then Allah asks them, what response were you given? by your peoples who are there. And then, instead of Prophet Ibrahim telling Allah what happened with him, and Prophet Musa telling Allah the problems that they caused him, and Prophet Isa tells Allah, and Prophet Muhammad says, no. They will say, we have no knowledge. We don't know. What? How come they don't know? Did you ever think about this? How come the messenger would tell Allah, we don't know? Why? They don't lie. They really can, they are stunned by the day. That day is not easy. On the day of judgment, the messengers of Allah will lose memory. They are the ones who will not be punished, who will not be held accountable. Still, the day is stunning. Did you think about yourself? If this is how the messengers would be, what about yourself? How about us, sinners? How about us, rebels who rebel against Allah? What do you think we will feel? Wallah, the ayah is scary. The messengers will be stunned like that. What about us, guys? You see, the ayat that we have been reading for 20 or 30 or 40 or 50 years, it's not for the first time you're seeing this now. Why? Because you used to read like that. Why? Because I'm revising my hifz. I'm revising my memorization. I am in a race against some people. But I wasn't really understanding it. Put yourself in every ayah. Put yourself in every ayah. Wallahi, this can change your life forever. Prophet Muhammad, and I told you last time, right? It is narrated that he was the most generous human being. But he was always more generous in Ramadan. We know that, right? Why? Continue reading the hadith. Because Jibreel used to come to him every Ramadan and revise with him the whole Quran. That's the hadith. Which means that the effect of the Quran on Prophet Muhammad ﷺ intensively used to affect his own personality positively. Though he is the most positive person in the world, it was even getting better by reading the Quran every time. Subhanallah. Because he used to take it intensively and understand it. Let's take some exercise. Yeah, let's exercise together. Let's contemplate this together. Okay? You tell me how to contemplate this. This is Surah Al-Baqarah 46. الَّذِينَ يَظُنُّونَ أَنَّهُمْ مُلَاقُو رَبِّهِمْ وَأَنَّهُمْ إِلَيْهِ رَاجِعُونَ. Those who expect that they are meeting the Lord and that to Him they are returning. How can you contemplate this intellectually? How can you put yourself here? Huh?
And those so we need to probably find out who he's talking about.
Exactly. So that's not a complete sentence yet. Let's go back one ayah. Agree with me? Let's take the one before. واستعينوا بالصبر والصلاة وإنها لكبيرة إلا على الخاشعين الذين يظنون أنهم ملاقو ربهم. Understand what is الذين يظنون? And seek help through patience and prayer. It is indeed a great burden, except for those humble, those who expect that they are meeting their Lord. So those who expect are who? Are those who are humble. Not like that we can. Now we can. So what is the ayah telling us? وَاسْتَعِينُوا بِالصَّبْرِ وَالصَّلَاةِ. Seek help. Help from Allah, definitely. Through patience and prayer. It is indeed a great burden, except for the humble. That's why sometimes salah becomes like a burden. Because I'm not enjoying it. If I'm humble, if I have khushu' in my salah, I will enjoy it and And I will wait for it like Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. You know, there are two types of salah. A salah that comforts you and a salah that you are comforted from. The salah that comforts you is the salah of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He used to, not yet. Okay, 5 minutes. After a while, 3 minutes. 2 minutes, 1 minute. Now, أرحنا بها يا Bilal. Go ahead, Bilal, yalla. Comfort us, O Bilal. What does comfort us, O Bilal, that the Prophet used to tell Bilal mean? It means that he used to wait for it, long for the salah. أرحنا بها يا Bilal. Comfort us with it, Bilal, means that the Prophet ﷺ used to wait for the salah. But our salah is not like that. Oh my God, there's only 5 minutes left for Maghrib. Let's quickly catch Asr. And we go and we Allahu Akbar. And by the time we finish, we hear Adhan al-Maghrib and we say, Alhamdulillah, we are comforted from Asr, not by Asr. That's the difference between us. Look at the ayah. وَإِنَّهَا لَكَبِيرَةٌ the salah. And the salah is a burden except for the humble. So if you learn how to humble yourself in your salah, how to bring khushu' to your salah, you will enjoy it. You will not feel that it's a burden. And then continue, the humble who what? الَّذِينَ يَظُنُّونَ أَنَّهُمْ مُلَاقُوا رَبِّهِمْ. Those who expect to be meeting their Lord. Therefore, you cannot humble yourself in the salah except if you remember death. You remember that you will die one day. Actually, what we do, and I want to give you a token actually. One of the lessons that we give in the Tarbiyah Imaniyah is called the spirit of prayer, which is a lesson that, alhamdulillah, the feedback about it is that it has an immediate effect. You take this lesson and your salah differs because it tells you how to bring khushu' to your salah. I will allow you to cheat this and go and watch it. Why wait for a month until you take it? Go and watch. Go on YouTube and type the spirit of prayer and put my name next to it so that you can get the video easily. Fadel Soliman. You will get this lesson. Watch it. The first thing we say, imagine yourself that you died and you came up to life, resurrected, to meet your Lord. That's what they died. And you imagine yourself standing on the Sirat, and you will be now receiving you will be held accountable. And how this brings khushu' to your salah. Okay? Now let us take key number 3. Find the correlation of the tail of any verse or the ending of any verse and the main body of the verse or the ayah. So that's an amazing way of contemplation. You know, the ayat of the Quran, there's a main body and there is an ending for it. I'll show you something. Surah An-Nur. 3 years ago, they asked me in East London Mosque to contemplate Surah An-Nur with them. And I applied this for the first time on Surah An-Nur and I found amazing things. خلينا ما حد يطلب. فتحت عندك فتحة. ما حد طب يقوم يساعدك. Okay. Okay, whoever wants take. خلاص. جوزك ما بيخش السينما بالسلام عليكم ولا حاجه. طيب المهم so I applied this rule, trying to find the relationship between the ending of an ayah and the body of the ayah, and I found amazing things. Look at this. This ayah is a very known rule that says that you can enter public places without permission, because as Muslims we should seek permission before we enter any house or any place. But if it's a public place like a supermarket, like a pharmacy, you don't need to knock, you don't need to seek permission, just enter. So that's a very simple ruling that I never thought that it will ever have any inspiration for me spiritually. But look at this. When I apply the rule, Allah says, there is no blame on you for entering uninhabited houses in which there is no accommodation for you, in which there is accommodation for you. And Allah knows what you reveal and what you conceal. So there is no blame for entering uninhabited places where no one is sleeping inside, okay? In which there is accommodation for you, in which there is some services given to you in it, okay? Like a supermarket. And Allah knows, listen to this, what you reveal and what you conceal. Try to find the relationship between allowing people to enter public places and telling people that Allah knows what you hide in your heart and what you show to people. You will not know, except if you imagine the ayah. Imagine the opposite, actually. Imagine someone standing outside Tesco, refusing to enter until he gets permission from the director of Tesco to enter. And he keeps calling people. He's like, can you please call the manager, the store manager? I think he's the one there in the corner. I just can't enter, actually. Can you call him, the one with the name tag? Please call him for me, please. And someone brings him to you at the door, and you tell him, excuse me, because I'm Muslim, I cannot enter, so do you allow me to enter Tesco? What do you think this guy is doing? He's faking humbleness, faking taqwa. So Allah is telling you, enter public places without any need for permission. And Allah knows what you hide in your heart and what you reveal to people. So the outer meaning of the ayah tells you is a hukm fiqhi telling you, enter public places without permission. The inner meaning, the hidden meaning, hidden message sent to your heart is, never fake taqwa. Never try to fake humbleness. It's the worst type of arrogance to fake humbleness. Some people are arrogant and they show off with their humbleness. How to say something? Yeah, not for الحاجز. Why? You know, there's a hadith of Prophet Muhammad that whatever is under the heels is in fire. So that people would walk with, the men walk with clothes that are short. That's why. It's to show humbleness, because actually rich people at that time used to walk with clothes that drag behind them. You know, the Caesar and kings would have like a tail dragging behind them. Even, you know, in the villages, in my village in Egypt, some people always have their thobe, or what we call galabiya, all the way dragging in the floor. That's to show that they are rich people. They change their thobe every week or every 10 days. They have no problem, you understand? So the reason why Allah told us that, or the Prophet ﷺ